Her name was Kirih, and she was of the Antelope Creek people. She lived on a mesa, in a village overlooking what we now call the Canadian River. Her home was made of rock and mud. Something like an adobe, something like an igloo. She lived there with her family, her father, the chief Ush, her mother, Ta'a, and her sister, Cookies. Now their names mattered. Among her people, names came in dreams, and they were almost always true. Her father's name meant owl, a fierce protector. Her mother's name meant deer, quiet, graceful, and watchful. Her sister's name meant rabbit, always moving, always bundled up when the canyon turned cold. And Kirih. Kirih's name meant just one thing. No. Not an animal, not a spirit. Just no. She said it often as a child, whenever she wanted her way. And the village said it right back, whenever they tried to stop her. No, Kirih, no, don't touch that. No, don't do that. But she did anyway. There was Kirih and the skunk, 4 baths later. Kirih and the bees, a lesson learned too late. Kirih and the fire, a mistake she didn't repeat. And Kirih and the snake, a near miss. As she grew, so did the trouble. It wasn't unusual to find broken things scattered around her home. Tomahawks snapped in half, moccasins torn apart. Tools ruined from being used the wrong way. Her people were skilled craftsmen. They traded far and wide for beautiful things. Rainbow flint, shells from the Gulf, turquoise from the mountains. And still, around Kirih's home, things broke. The villagers would go to her father. Kirih broke this. Kirih broke that. And he would only smile. Yes, he'd say. That is what she does. Until one day, she broke something different. It was the day of the great Tanaha, the bison hunt. Her father went to retrieve his bow. It was gone. He searched everywhere until he stepped outside. There, on the ground, lay his favorite bow, broken clean in two. "Kirih!" he shouted. She came running. "What have you done?" She looked down and told the truth. It had made a good stick for hitting rocks in the river until it didn't. And for the first time, her father was angry. He shouted at the sky, he shouted at the ground. He even shouted at a passing squirrel that had nothing to do with it. The whole village gathered. Then he looked at her and said, "You are old enough for a job." Her mother pulled him aside. "She's just a child," she said. "What can she do?" He thought for a moment, then took the pot from her mother's hands and gave it to Kirih. "You will bring water from the river," he said, "every day, as many times as it takes to fill every pot in this village." Then he turned, took another bow, and left with the hunters. Kirih's mother knelt beside her. "There is a reason for the wind," she said. "For the grass, for the sun." She touched Kirih's face. "And there is a reason for you." Then she handed her the pot. "Go, and don't break this one." Kirih nodded and started down the trail. She walked until the village was out of sight, then sat beneath a cottonwood tree, listening to the wind. After a while, she stood and made her way to the meadow near the river. There were flowers there, and butterflies drifting in the air. She sat for a moment and watched them. Then she picked up the pot and carefully made her way to the water. She filled it, lifted it, and began the long walk back. When she reached the rock where she had rested before, she stopped. A mountain lion was crouched on the trail ahead of her. She froze. No stick, no stone, no way to fight. So she did the only thing she could. She shouted. The lion didn't move. It just watched her, hungry. She jumped, yelled again, careful not to drop the pot. And then, the lion began to move. Slow at first, then faster. So Kirih did the one thing she knew best. She shouted her name, "Kirih!" and threw the pot against the rock. It shattered. The sound cracked through the canyon. Cold water splashed across the lion's face. And, just like that, it turned and ran. Kirih ran too. Up the trail, past the cottonwoods, all the way back to the village. She didn't stop until she found her mother. Breathless, she told her everything. The lion, the water, the broken pot. Her mother listened, then sent for her father. Together they walked back down the trail, past the trees into the meadow where the pot lay in pieces. And beside it, a great paw print. Her mother pulled her close. And they hurried back. That night, the hunters followed the trail. When they returned, they said the lion had fled the valley, and it would not come back. The village cheered. Her father leaned down beside her and whispered, "There is a reason for everything." Then he gave her a new name, Hatikesh, pot slinger. From that day on, She was she was the one who drove the lion away. And if you ever walk through the Alabate's Antelope Creek Valley, you will see deer, you will see rabbits, you will see owls. But you will never see a mountain lion, though if you look closely, you might still find the broken pots of Hatikash.